because, first of all, before I get into the slides and outline all of this for you, what needs to be reset, relearned so you can pass? Because don't you want to pass? That's my thing. I want to give a little bit about myself. I became a massage therapist in 2008. I was able to pass the exam on the first try. I started my business in 2009. I ended my massage business in 2023. Actually, the past couple of years, I have been tutoring and teaching massage students specifically for the MBLEX. And one thing I've learned is, and that's why I'm doing this class, I have seen for students who've taken it multiple times, it's rarely the material that you're failing at. And if you're with me, you can agree, but it's not the material that's screwing you up. It's the anxiety, it's the confidence, it's your consistency, it's your discipline. It's you may be overthinking the questions. It can be a number of things. Each student I've encountered is different. And just to give you some success, I've had students I've dealt with over the past couple of years who failed it 3 times and then they passed. I've worked with a blind student. I just had 2 students this past month who passed. One who only worked with me for 6 weeks did it because I'm going to tell you, I am the gold. I help you see your light. So let's get into it because I want to share some tips. Make sure you take notes because some of this stuff you may not have heard before because a lot of people teaching MBLEX are only teaching the material. I don't only teach the material. Yes, I know the material, and you'll see some of this in my presentation, but it's more about you developing yourself. That's why I call this stop guessing, start passing. A lot of times we're doubting ourselves. We're saying, I can't do that. There may be past stories of learning. I have students now, that's been their story. Maybe this is your story. Start to examine within yourself, what is your story? First thing I want to point out, we are massage therapists. We benefit from touch. That's something you need to incorporate into your study. Are you touching? Are you moving as you study? Are you listening to the podcast as you're moving, as you're working out? I've instructed some of my students, take a walk. While you're on your break at walk, listen to videos, listen to the material. That's where you activate. We are really good as massage therapists at identifying the root. Because what do? When a client comes in with back pain, each client with back pain is not the same. Somebody with back pain could have experienced surgery. Another person, they play basketball. Another person, she's pregnant. We got to know what is the root. And that's where it is even with you passing this test. What is the root? Why do you keep failing? Or why are you scared of the test? There's a reason behind it. And you have to work on that reason. Identify the root cause. And then use your innate skills as a massage therapist. You know you're intuitive. You know you work with energetics. Again, you know you work with the body. Use the body in your study. Make inventive things. Get creative. When you know what your root is, get creative with it. If you know you have issues with anxiety, overcome your anxiety because you're not just going to fix your anxiety by keep taking the tests over and over and over and you do nothing for your anxiety. You're not going to fix your test taking skills by keep taking the test. You will, but you need to identify, why am I missing these questions? What's the reason behind me missing these questions? And I want to congratulate you for being here because you are one of the few who really wants to know. Because I tell all of my students, I'm not just here to help you pass the NBLEX. I'm here to make you a success at life. Because we know this as massage therapists. It was the reason I got into massage therapy. I was tired of working a desk job at the DoubleTree Hotel. And then one day my cousin, she took me to a day spa. I don't know what your origin story is, but my cousin, she took me to a day spa and I was won over. Even though in my family we didn't do a lot of touch, I was like, I want to do that. I got to go to school. So about a year later, I enrolled in school and everything has accelerated. I call massage my gateway drug because it's opened up my world to so many things. And it's the same for you. Next, the feeling is the secret. You may say, what does this have to do with anything? Why do I need to feel to take the test? I need to know this. Tell me the 7 categories. Tell me this. I need to know this. I didn't. That's where we're going wrong. We're over studying. And again, I'm not saying don't study because you have to have a study plan. You have to know the anatomy. You got to know your muscles, your origins, your insertions. If I say semitendinosis, you got to know where it is. If I say what's the pathway of the blood to the heart, you got to know what it is. Why are we saying the feeling is the secret? How do you feel when you're studying? That's a question for you, and feel free to engage in the chat. Do you feel anxious? Do you feel rushed? Do you feel like I got to study for 3 hours until I get it? Do you break it up? How do you feel? Because you want to simulate the feeling before the test. You don't want to get to the week before the test and then you start to try to relax. No, be relaxed the entire time. The feeling is the secret. Because what do we know about the nervous system? We know there's the parasympathetic nervous system and we know there's the sympathetic nervous system. If every time I sit down and do a practice quiz, go over my flashcards, do my trail guide, whatever I'm doing, whatever material I'm doing, David Merlino app, AMTA app, ABMP, I can name all the resources. Every time I'm dreading it. No. What is your feeling towards this? People used to always tell me, Elmira, feelings don't matter. We know feelings matter as massage therapists. Why do we want to help people get rid of their pain? Why do we want to help pregnant women? Why do we want to help people with medical conditions? I have a student now, she wants to just help babies. That's her thing. Connect to that feeling as well as you prep for the test. What is your motivation? What's your vision? Why do you want to pass this test? Why do you want to see LMT behind your name? I can tell you why I wanted to see LMT behind my name. I was stressed at that hotel job. It was overwhelming. I was like, how are they doing this? Everybody was overweight. Nobody wanted to work out. I was like, I was the only one going to the workout during my lunch break. Everybody else was just eating and smoking, and it was frustrating. Connect back to that feeling within you as you are preparing for this test, because that's going to be your guiding light. That should be part of your strategy. Every day, connect to the feeling. Let me say it again. Every day, connect to the feeling. Can you see yourself with the pass on the screen? What does that feel like when they say pass? Minnie, pass. George, pass. Cheryl, passed. Bob, passed. What does it feel like? Are you going to get excited like I did? I'm going to tell you what I did when I passed. I went to get me some Mexican food. I had me a margarita because I was like, yes, and I knew it because I had practiced the feeling. I knew I was going to pass that test. I just knew. I had an inner knowing. It started back in school, and you do too. You already know. I tell everybody this, you already know. You're just doubting yourself and not connecting to the feeling. You must connect to the feeling. Next, You'll notice I got a lot of statements because these are the statements which help you stop guessing and start passing. How you do one thing is how you do everything. What do I mean by this? How do you wake up in the morning? Are you hurried? Are you rushed? Are you relaxed? Do you take your time? How do you eat? Are you rushed? Are you hurried? Do you relax? Do you take your time? Are you always anxious? Do things always seem to go wrong for you? Do you always second guess your decision? You knew you wasn't supposed to make that turn. You knew you wasn't supposed to accept that job. You knew you wasn't supposed to date that guy, but you went for it anyway. That's how you do one thing, is how you do everything. That's why the test, you're failing the test. Because you're doing the test like you do everything in your life. Let me tell you how this shows up for some of the students I work with, because you need examples of this so you can see it for yourself. I have a student, she's been controlled all her life by her mom. So her mom makes all her decisions for her. So what do you think the student was not able to do when it came to the test? She was not able to make a decision. So when it said A, B, C, she don't know what to do because her mom in her life, her mom had always made decisions for her. Let me think about some other students. Oh, I had another student last year. This was a gentleman. He passed too. This guy lives out in Colorado. His whole thing was he's in his 40s and his parents and his sister has always judged him because they said, you don't have a degree, you don't have this, so you can't be a real massage therapist. So the way he was operating in life was, I don't have enough credentials. When it came to him studying for the test, he thought he didn't have enough credentials. He thought he wasn't able to study. But let me tell you, he was one of my best students ever because he got to the grind and he did it and passed just like that. He's now working as a therapist, owning his own business. Ask yourself this question: how do I live my life? How do I drive? Do I have road rage? Am I always in a rush? Am I always late? Am I always early? It always, just ask yourself. Only you know. Because the thing is, I can't tell you this. You know. You said the word I speaks by. Okay, yes. Yeah. Because I want to tell you about myself, because sometimes you got to see an example of this to see the light in yourself. Somebody else would have said, Elmira, why are you getting all dressed up? It's a Saturday morning MBLEX class. Why are you wearing your dress? Why did you get all pretty? That's how I do everything. I'm pretty every day because I believe in putting my best foot forward, my wealthy self, my millionaire self. I don't do things half-heartedly. I do it whole every time, no matter who's watching. Because there were many more people who registered for this class. But guess how many are here? And that's okay. I'm still going to show up because how you do one thing is how you do everything. God is watching. The universe is watching. Your test is watching. The next time you take the test is watching because you have to prepare for that situation. You know? Oh, thank you so much. I strive to be a blessing because I'm just here to help the people who are willing to get the help. That's all I'm about. I just want you to be successful. That's why I'm even teaching this class, cuz last year I wouldn't have taught this class. I was doing so many one-on-one sessions and other things. I didn't have the space because I just want to make your life easier. And that brings to mind another student I'm working with right now in California. She's had 30 years in the massage profession, but her teachers back in school taught everything so complicated. I know how to simplify things, It's like, why are y'all teaching this? It's just a sarcomere. Just describe it. Tell what it is and relate it back to something easy. It's that simple. Okay, elasticity is like this in the muscle. It's like this plasticity. Why y'all overcomplicating stuff? People want to, especially when it comes to anatomy, kinesiology, pathology, everybody want to seem smart. They're not really smart because they're not living it. That's the thing. You as a massage therapist, live the situation. Live the material. Are you only reviewing the material just to pass the test? Are you reviewing the material so you can be a better man, a better woman? That's what you should be doing. Oh, and then celebrate yourself too. That's something I'm big on. Wow. Look at this practice test today. Yesterday I got a 62% on my practice test. Today I got an 80. Okay, go, 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 go. Hype, 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 get hype, get hype, get hype. Party. Because why you going to party at the end? Why party when you get the pass? You got to party now because that's how you attract the pass. You can't party when you get the number. Party before it happens in the physical. And that all make, hold on, let me see. Did I skip? Oh, no, I didn't. That all makes sense, especially if you do energy work. I do physical work, energy work, all the work because it's all part of our body. Our body, mind, spirit is one. We know this from studying the human body. My brain is not disconnected from my heart. We even call the gut the second brain. Why? Because it's connected, it's communicating with each other. So why would I not use that in my studying? Use everything in your study. And this leads me to my next point. Use what you know to help you with what you don't know. So again, welcome, Brittany. Use what you know to help you with what you don't know. What do I mean by this? You all know you come across a question and it'll say just something radical, some word you ain't never seen before. You like, are y'all testing me to be a doctor, a nurse? This don't make sense. But what you do, and I have an example up here shortly, so we're going to do this example together. What you have to ask yourself, and remember I said take notes because what Elmira is giving now is gems, and you ain't even got to sign up for my tutoring that I'm offering you. You got class right now. I'm giving you gems. So let's say there's a medication in the word in the question you have never seen. It says something like quixodomine. You're like, I don't know what that is, but it said quadriceps in the question, and you know what quadriceps is. What do you know about the quadriceps? Now you can use the information about the quadriceps to help you with the quixodomine. That's what you do. Use what you know to help you with what you don't know. We do it every day. How many mothers do I have in the room? How many fathers do I have in the room? You can say yes or whatever. I'm a I got a lot of kids because I don't have any that I've birthed yet, but I do have three nephews and a niece. I'm a frog mom. I got a little African dwarf frog. I got all kinds of babies that love me. Let's see. Mom of three, yes. You sound like my sister. Well, my sister has two boys. But yes, you get it right. Oh, that's my example. But how did you teach your boys? You teach them as they're growing and developing. You teach them based on what they know. So you know a 3-year-old knows certain things, or a 7-year-old knows certain more things than the 3-year-old. So you will use what that 3-year-old knows to help them figure out how to tie their shoe, figure out something else. You might use a song. You might, as they're learning to potty train, you say, okay, how can I convince them to potty train to get them. I remember my sister doing this with my nephews. She had struggling to get them to put the urine in the toilet. But you had to teach them how to aim. They already knew how to do that. It was just maybe not targeted all the time. Use what you know to help you with what you don't know. Before we get to the example, how does this relate to back to the test? Because we know on the test there's 7 categories, correct? Maybe you're really strong in, and you both can put this in the chat too. What are your strong areas? Do you know your strong areas? Tell me what your strong areas are. I'm just going to give some examples. Maybe you're really strong at ethics. Use your strength in ethics to help you with the kinesiology. Maybe you're really strong in pathology and kinesiology. Use those strengths to help you with the guidelines for professional practice. Oh, I'm strong at anatomy. Use your strength in anatomy to help you with the benefits of massage because all of it is interrelated. Everything is connected. None of this is separate. They try to make it separate on the test. Oh, you're going to have 7 questions of this, 11 questions of this, 17% of this. Yeah, that might make sense to most people, but if you are a energetic spiritual being and you understand things from that aspect, like most massage therapists do, you got to approach this test in a new way. That's why this is called strategy reset. We not just going over the material, we going over the back end stuff because that's the stuff not helping you pass. You got to relate the questions to your life. Okay, let's get to the example. We're going to read it together and analyze the question. This is something I do in my tutoring sessions all the time. I call it dissecting questions, where we just look at questions. We go over material, but we look at questions and talk about it. We talk through why is this the right answer? Why is it not? So I'm going to even invite you to open up your mic. Question says, a client with osteoarthritis of the knee has hypertonic quadriceps. The massage therapist has also noticed the client can only move the knee to 100 degrees of flexion, with reports of an intense stretch felt in the quadriceps during this movement. What treatment would be the most effective for this client? I would love to hear, what do you know in that question? You can either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. What do you know in that question? It could be a term. It could be, I know what the question is asking. I know what 100 degrees mean. I know what osteoarthritis is. What do you know? What do you know in that question? I will wait because I would love an answer. Because this is us, part of us activating this strategy reset. Are you saying that you don't know anything in that question? Be honest. If you don't, it's okay. Does the question confuse you? Tell me when you see this question, what is going on? What is going on in your mind? What's going on in your body? What do you feel? Does it feel like, oh, I know this? I can pick the answer out. And this brings another question to me because I'm all about results and I'm all about helping you get the result of passing the test. However, if you don't let me know what's going on, I can't help you.
I'm sorry, is it a group or is it just me?
It's a group. Yeah, it's a group. Did you identify something in the question that you know? It could be a term, you know the answer. Are you afraid to answer it because it's a group? I mean, we got to be honest with ourselves too, because if we're not honest with ourselves about this test, we're not going to pass either.
Oh, ma'am, that's not it. I have gotten called in to work, so I'm listening to your podcast and working at the same exact time.
Oh, I see. See, that's what I need to hear. So we know what's going on. So you're doing double duty. Well, let me break down this question. But I do want you to know for the future, you have to do this practice yourself. Every time you get a practice question, you're in the app, you're doing it on your own, you're working with me, you're working with another tutor, teacher. Always identify what you know in the question. It could be as simple as I know osteoarthritis is inflammation of the joints.
Yes, that's the part I do know. I just couldn't answer right then because I'm in the process of giving a bath.
Oh, are you like a CNA or
Yes, ma'am, I am.
sweet? See, you already out there, you helping souls. My sister does that. The one I was talking about who has the two sons, she's a CNA. And I've done plenty of work as a grief doula, helping care give people before their death. I never gave the baths, but I changed the diapers and did all that too. So I know what you're doing. So let me identify some key words in here too. So we got osteoarthritis. It says 100 degrees of flexion. So this should start to make you say, is 100 degrees of flexion, is this normal or is this abnormal? It says they have intense stretch felt in the quadriceps during this movement. So we already know there's some type of pain or intensity with the quadriceps. We know which muscle we're referring to because they mention it twice. Remember, repetition, repetition, repetition. And I will repeat. I have a method: relax, reset, retake. That's what the point of this whole class is. You have to relax. You have to reset your nervous system. We hear a whole lot about that these days. And even us as massage therapists knew this before the general public even started talking about it on ABC, CBS, on the podcast. We know this. Relax, reset, retake. They repeat quadriceps. So we already know something key about this question. It should lead you To when you're looking at your answer choices, we always eliminate two at first. I'm just giving you some test taking strategies. You probably already know this, but I'm just explaining the process. You
The
always
pro
want, hmm?
the problem that I'm having is I'm not sure where to study and how to retain the information. I am getting down the part where you can learn the key concepts or the key words. However, I just don't know where to start at with the MBLEX study book.
I got you. You need to start on your weaknesses, and by working with me, we help identify that. Because if you don't know, that shows you need assistance with guiding you, with directing you. Because each student is different, each person is different. Everybody in this class today is going to be different, a different direct, and I can tell you that from 2 years of teaching just for this MBLEX. Every student I've had is different because you have a different path to success. So the confusion comes in being overwhelmed with all of the information, but when you simplify it, you know exactly what Brittany needs to do. So that's my take. I would love to work with you because I have 4 sessions you can purchase. I have 8 sessions and I also have 12 sessions. I have all those packages, which I'll detail later. So once we look at the answer choices, we already know that it's going to deal with the quadriceps. It could be the hamstrings because the hamstring is an antagonist. It's on the opposite side of the leg. Quadriceps in the front, hamstrings in the back. See, you was thinking antagonist. What made you think the antagonist? Because that would not be completely wrong. What made you go for the antagonist? If you can let me know. Or maybe you were just saying that the hamstring is an antagonist of the quadricep. Correct. You are exact. See what I'm saying? You already know this stuff. None of this was in the question, but you knew it. The one thing I teach is you already know. Trust your intuition. Trust your inner guidance. So when we go back to this, hamstring could be the answer, but it's very likely that a quadricep in the answer choice is the answer to this since they repeated quadriceps twice. So then we go through and read through everything to see which one makes sense. We're going to eliminate B because B is talking about hamstrings. A, contract relax techniques for the quadriceps, shaking of the quadriceps. We're going to keep that. C says contract relax techniques for the quadriceps, shaking of the hamstrings. Let me tell you why we're going to eliminate that. Why would we shake the hamstring when it's hypertonic quadriceps? They're the ones that need the relaxation. So I'm going to eliminate C as well. D, contract relax techniques for the quadriceps, percussion to the quadriceps. So now we're narrowed it down to A and B, and the key is which would be a better technique for this knee flexion and these hypertonic quadriceps? Would it be shaking or percussion? Shaking, of course, is like this. Percussion is like this. We know what the client has going on. 100 degrees of flexion is actually over. It's too much flexion. So once we look at it, shaking would be better because it causes less disturbance to what this specific client has going on. Each question is going to be different. That's the thing with the test. You have to look at each question as a new situation, as a new client. Yes, generally you're looking at the questions as an expert massage therapist, but each question is a new situation. Don't compare this question to the last question about osteoarthritis. It's not the same because even this question explicitly states what treatment would be most effective for this client. They're very key in the writing of these questions. And I have some students who get confused by that because they're using their own personal stories of a client they dealt with did it ask about Mary with osteoarthritis? No, Mary ain't in this question. Yes, you can use past experiences to assist you, but the question is the question that's in black and white on this paper, on the screen, because that's how you're going to be presented with the test. It's going to be on a screen. Get used to just looking at the information that's there in front of you. Understand, I was alluding to this earlier with, oh, there's so much information. Where do I start? You have to understand your way of learning. We hear it all the time. I'm a kinesthetic learner. I'm an audio learner. I'm a visual learner. I'm a mixed learner. Use your learning style in your study. If you know you do best with audio, why are you always reading a book? Do the audio. If you know you need to see colors and pictures, make colors and pictures of everything. I actually have flashcards here because even I'm still a student. Do flashcards work with you? I know some students that flashcards do not work. Don't make flashcards. Don't listen to other people who try to tell you this is what works. No, you have to figure it out for yourself. How do you learn? And how do you know? How did you learn when you were a child? What comes easy to you right now? If somebody describes something verbally, you get it. But if you have to read a recipe, you're like, what the heck is they saying? I don't even know what they saying. But you can bake that cake without a recipe. That means you do good with hearing and touching because you have to do it. You can't just read it. You have to do it. A lot of us as massage therapists, as healers, are like that. We have to activate things. We have to do it. Live the test. And that's going to be what helps you relax, reset, retake. Figure out your own way. Your own way could be I study best at night at 2 a.m. because I caregive during Saturdays. What's your way? Oh, I have to have music. I have to be outside in a hammock. Do it your way. Because some people will say, oh, the test is going to be structured, so I have to study structure. No, that's not getting you into a relaxed state. You have to be in your own body, your own relaxation before you get to the test, because then you'll be able to relax in any situation. That's why people like, you probably heard it. I played Michael Jackson in the beginning because last Saturday I went to see the Michael movie. I relate so much to him as a creative because your way may just be, I need to dance. I teach dancing in my to understand the planes. I show my students how to dance because that's how you feel it in your body and you're not going to forget. But if dancing doesn't work for you, don't dance. I have some students who listen to fundamental raps on YouTube because that gentleman gives anatomy and kinesiology lessons through music. What are your strengths? Use your strengths and build up your weaknesses. Let me say it again. Utilize your strengths and build up your weaknesses. We would be doing the same thing if I was at the gym. Let me show you because I got my weights. Got to use it as an example. This is a 15-pound weight. I have a 20-pound weight downstairs. How did I start to be able to use this weight? I started to build my weaknesses. I said, okay, I can't get through the 15 yet. Let me try the 10. More reps with the 10, and the stronger I got, I was able to do the 15. Then I was able to do the 20. That's how you got to track your progress as well. Track it. Some of you are not writing down your progress. You're not celebrating your wins. That's why everything seems so overwhelming, because you can't see your success and you're only thinking about your failures. No. What are your strengths? Your strength may be, oh, I've taken this test 3 times, but each time I've improved. That's a strength. Look back at your results. Oh, the first time I took it, it was low on everything. The second time I took it, it was borderline on everything. Third time I took it, I had success on 3 categories and borderline on 2. That shows you are winning. But sometimes we get so stuck in the past stories, and I've seen it with myself, I've seen it with my students, that we can't move on. We are actually in the midst of a full moon right now, and it's the perfect time for this class. Full moon in Scorpio, which means you got to release those old ideas people said you can't learn. You can't do this. You're not smart. Even stuff you said to yourself. Release it. Identify your strengths. Say, I'm really good at that. Oh, look at me. Oh, da 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 da. This is exciting. Some people even told me I'm not a good teacher because I don't teach to the test. You should not teach to the test. Yes, we teach what's on the test, but the way you pass the test every time is to understand the information. Because once you understand the information, they can throw any question at you and you'll know it. Just like as a mother, they can throw any situation at you and you'll know how to handle it. You may not have done it before with your son or daughter, but you know how to handle it. Because you're like, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for anything. I know how I was around my nephews. I know how it is. Next, this is how you study. It's my OCD method, order, consistency, discipline. I'm not going to get into all what it is, but listen to the words. You got to be disciplined. This is something I specifically formulate for my clients, but it includes you being disciplined. You got to do the same thing. If you know Thursday at 3 is your study day, Thursday at 3 is your study day. If you know you taking 3 practice tests a week, take 3 practice tests a week. And if you don't do it, punish yourself. Because if you're not the type who can be self accountable, you need somebody like me to assist you on this journey. That's why I am hired all across the nation. Students in Florida, New York, Indiana, California, Colorado. I can keep naming them. Virginia, Ohio, all over. Louisiana. You got to be disciplined. You cannot be this spiritual person. Oh, I'm just going to manifest the test and into. Yes, you use that. Definitely use your manifestation and your intuition because that works towards your benefit. But you can't do only that. You got to combine the left brain and the right brain. And it's all about discipline. You have to sit down and simulate the test. You have to sit down and relax. You have to sit down and reset. What is the reset? Doing something different this time than you did last time. Because you know what you did last time didn't work. Reset. Get help. Get another resource. Get in a study group. Sign up for more classes like this one. You're already resetting because you're here. So congratulate yourself. Sometimes we don't congratulate ourselves in the moment. Hug yourself and say, thank you. Thank you for showing up on this Saturday. Even with my busy schedule, even with everything that I do, I am here. I am resetting. I am learning to be a better test taker. I'm learning to be a better person. I am an LMT. I retake the test and pass. That's the strategy. Everybody wants to know how to do something. The real way of how to do something is to practice. I got a trumpet over there and a saxophone. I started playing the trumpet in fifth grade. How did I get good on the trumpet? I practiced. I had to when I first started playing it. It was I could hardly play the mouthpiece. Same with massage. I remember back in massage school, and you may have a similar story. I had to ask my instructor when we started doing the full body. I said, "Why am I sweating?" And he said, "Elmira, are you breathing?" I was like, "No. How was I going to do a massage not breathing?" Reset. That's it. We learn through our errors. Errors are not there to say you're a failure. They're there to be a reset. They're there to be a lesson. What can I do better? So I started breathing and it helped me tremendously. I was like, oh, you're supposed to breathe and not trying to force yourself to. I was trying to remember the strokes because my teacher said, um, 10 minutes. Where can I find more of your classes? You get in one-on-one. I'm teaching this again on May 13th, but I don't have any other class. And then I'm on YouTube as well. Search me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel where I share shorts. But in terms of classes, you have to sign up for one-on-one, and it's not free. This is an offering that I'm giving, but I already have, yeah, the one-on-one I'm going to tell you about shortly. Valuable resources based on your way. Again, we said, are you audio? Listen to David Merlino's podcast. Get on YouTube. There's people like Jody Scholes. There's other people. There's a well-known Reyes. Are you visual? Watch the videos. Amoeba Sisters. Memorize Medical. I'm just naming off stuff. Get in your books and make it disciplined. Order, consistency, discipline. You know what you're supposed to do. You may be like, I need you to tell me exactly. You got to do the practice. Children don't come out the womb learning how to walk. They practice. We practice for the test. We guide you through the test. You learn how to take the test better. You learn how to be a better person. The resources are out there. Even go on the FSMTB. Buy their packages. MBLEXguide.com. I'm just naming off stuff that I tell my students about. I have lots of resources that you get access to when you hire me. I've made up lots of practice tests. I've made up worksheets, games, all kinds of stuff that help my students, because it's not just the material, it's identifying what's holding you back. We do the material, we do the benefits, we do the client assessment, we do all of that, but you have to identify what's holding you back. So here's my offer. Tutoring packages are available. You can book me for 4 sessions, which is $555, and I'll put this link in the chat shortly, but if you have access, it's clickable. You can click this link, and I'm actually going to click on the link too so you can see it. 8 sessions is $9.97. 12 sessions, which means you'll be working once a week with me for 3 months, is $19.97. When you go to the website, this is how it looks. MBLEX exam prep and coaching, because I help you get ready. You see the tutoring packages here. You click on buy now. There is options to pay. You can do Afterpay, Affirm, Full Pay, even Cash App. Because once you make your payment, you can make your appointments with me. Let me go back here. That's the breakdown of the session, and you might be wondering, why should you do tutoring with me? Because I give a new way to do this. My tutoring is just not only focused on the material. We focus on relaxing, resetting, retaking. Many people don't do the embodiment and the identity piece along with the MBLEX. It's all about do, 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 do. You got to get the study. You got to do these categories. And that don't work for everybody. It does actually, in my experience, that doesn't work for most people because you end up burning out. You end up saying, this is too much. I can't do it. But no, you got to see what's been holding you back, identify that, and then the next time, as we're practicing together, you're doing, you're learning how to do this better. Let's look at some reviews. Once again, Elmira is awesome. This session was super informational, but also healing and inspirational for me in certain ways. Thanks. That was Shelby. She passed. She just took it earlier this year. Uh, she really does great at comparing real life situations, making it easy to remember the material. This is from Alexandria from last year. I had actually, because she was pregnant, we started working before she had the baby and then after she had the baby. I wanted to let you know that I passed. This just happened 2 weeks ago. Thank you for helping me see that this is so easy because it is. So many people make us stress. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. They say that about parenting. They say that about buying a house. They say that about being getting married. Oh, you're gonna get. But if you tell yourself it's easy, it's easy. Okay, that was the last thing. But I'm going to put the link to the so you can sign up for tutoring in the chat. And now it's open forum for any questions, comments, concerns. You may want to, I don't know, you may want to just say thank you. You may have a specific question about anything. I'm here for 5 more minutes because this is an hour long class. So let me know. Any questions or comments, or you might say, okay, this was valuable, anything. Okay, without further ado, that is the course. You will also receive the replay, and you know where I am to sign up for class. I'm here to help you. My name is Elmira again. I am your LMT and exam coach, helping you say, I passed the MBLEX now. Y'all have a good Saturday. Goodbye.